Call of Duty is all about legacy. Legacy weapons, legacy maps, legacy characters, but every once in a while there is a gun that is so dominant, so good, that it's labeled toxic. I mean, the community never wants to see it again. Welcome, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today we're going to be going over some of the most toxic guns from COD history, and I really hope that these don't make it back. I mean, Modern Warfare 2's on the way, right? We'll have to wait and see. And guys, before we get into anything, link at the top of the description, code Chaos, G Fuel, 30% off. Everything on the site, tubs, cans, whatever you guys want to get, take advantage. Why code Chaos is juiced. Let me know on Twitter if you do. Now, let's start off with the Origin 12. And I think you guys will agree with me on this one. Has to be one of the most obnoxious guns in Modern Warfare, especially if you like to play on shipment, right? It was a resident semi-auto shotgun in Modern Warfare. It was pretty average on its own, but there was some gunsmith options that broke it. You could put a 25-round mag on it, a drum mag on it. You could give it a stupid one-shot kill range. You could give it near instant sprint out time. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff in the lab. It was way too toxic. What semi-auto shotgun should ever have a 25-round drum mag? Seriously, I ask you that. Every new COD game is going to have that semi-auto shotgun or two, but I'm kind of hoping that the Origin 12 does not come back later this year. At number 9, the 725. Now, it was nerfed hard, and it's a rather balanced weapon right now in the game, but when the game came out, do you remember how much this thing dominated the entire multiplayer scene? At launch, it was one of the most broken weapons in COD history. Not just the game, the handling was super fast, the one-shot kill range was absurd, and the fire rate and reloads, they were so fast, there was no downtime. Plus, overkill was the meta before the perks were rebalanced, meaning everybody had the 725 in their back pocket. Now, thankfully, IW eventually nerfed the gun and changed the perk system so everybody couldn't run it anymore, but the 725 was a toxic weapon in its purest form. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some annoying shotguns in Modern Warfare 2, but let's leave the 725 out. I don't think people are ready to deal with it. I think it's too soon. At number 8, the ASVAL. It was added to Modern Warfare some ways into the life cycle, and it has remained a top-tier weapon for multiplayer ever since that day. This assault rifle was an extremely fast-firing gun, ridiculous time to kill, and it had a built-in suppressor, so you don't have to use one of those as your gunsmith attachments, getting you off enemy radars. Plus, the gun, it could shoot through walls. You heard me right, when it was first added, it could shoot through walls. So, I mean, what is it about the ASVAL that's toxic? Well, I mean, I don't know. Compared to other guns on the list, it's not as spammy, I guess, or easy to use or as obnoxious or anything like that, but it is a gun that seems to only be used by people that sprint canceled around corners, going for world record gameplay, stuff like that. It's arguably the sweatiest gun in the game, even more so than the MP5 and the M4, which is saying something. Maybe I'm personally annoyed by it. I don't know, but I don't really want it back in Modern Warfare 2. Let the sweats find a new gun to spam 24/7. At number 7, the LSAT. Now, it's appeared twice in COD history. And one time it was toxic, we know that. The other time it was okay. Regardless, I think the community is probably not super eager to get the LSAT back in Call of Duty as a multiplayer experience. It first appeared in Black Ops 2, where it was far and away the best weapon in the class, and some even thought it was a top 5 weapon overall. Good fire rate, great damage, great, huge, massive default magazine, super low recoil, way too good, right? And then, of course, you put the infamous target finder on it. We already know. It then returned in Ghosts. It's a pretty solid LMG, but nothing too special. Now, with Modern Warfare 2 being set in modern times, obviously, the LSAT can make sense to bring back for nostalgic sake, I guess, but I don't think a spammy LMG is the kind of thing the COD community needs right now. There's plenty of other LMGs to bring back. I say we stay away from the LSAT. At number 6, the AKimbo FMG9s. Now, let's keep the AKimbo secondary train rolling, with perhaps the most infamous machine pistol in COD history. The FMG9 appeared in Modern Warfare 3, and I recently said I wanted it to come back, but now that I've had some time to think and ponder on it, that was dumb. These things should never return. It was a machine pistol, and on its own, it wasn't anything special. It did have good fire rate, great time to kill, but the recoil was super high, and it was difficult to control. But when you switched over to AKimbo, you already know it had one of the fastest times to kill in COD history. Not just one game, any game. It completely broke the game. Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer had to nerf the FMGs pretty quickly by turning up the recoil, but that wasn't enough to fix the toxic problem. If you booted up Modern Warfare 3 right now, you would still find people running AKimbo FMG9s because they're just that good. I mean, definitely toxic, definitely should not come back in the next Modern Warfare game. At number 5, the AKimbo Snakeshots. Now, the 357 was a 6-shot revolver in Modern Warfare 2019. Had a decent amount of power to it, although the handling and fire rate wasn't that great. But when you threw on the Snake Shot ammo conversion kit, It turned into a one-handed shotgun that had stopping power that would just, you could write home about, and then once dual wielding was added, well, you already know. They were broken, capable of insta-killing people from ridiculous distances, and since you had 6 shots in each hand, you would just blow people away one after another like it was nothing. Infinity Ward took their sweet time nerfing these things, and even after the nerfs, they were still strong. So I think it's safe to assume that some kind of revolver will return in Modern Warfare 2, and it's rather likely you'll be able to dual wield it. But let's just all get together and say we don't want the snake shot ammo, right? I think the community's had enough of that. And speaking of Akimbo things, let's stick with it. At number 4, the Akimbo Marshals. They appeared in Black Ops 3's the Marshal 16, then they were reworked for Black Ops Cold War's the Marshal. But both versions, they were handheld shotguns that could be dual wielded and ran as a secondary on any class you wanted. Now, the community had some debate over whether the Black Ops 3 Marshals or the Cold War Marshals were actually more broken, but they were both frustrating and super toxic. I don't know what it is about Akimbo secondary weapons. Maybe they just need to stay away altogether. Both the BO3 and the Cold War Marshals had way too much power for a secondary, and when you could run them in Akimbo form, it gave you way more options for how you were going to destroy entire groups of enemies like it was nothing. Let's leave the Marshals in Black Ops history, and let's keep them out of Modern Warfare. At number 3, the SASS. Another Modern Warfare 3 gun that I recently said it should make a comeback, but much like the FMG9s, I thought about it, looked in the mirror, and realized that I was dumb for thinking that. Semi-auto sniper in MW3 never returned. I wonder why, but the community abused it. It was a stupid high fire rate cap. It had a huge magazine, very low recoil, could kill with a single headshot or 2 shots anywhere else. Now, for a gun that did this much damage, it was too easy to control. Plus, Modern Warfare 3 was released when modded controllers were widespread, so it was not uncommon to see somebody using one of these with no recoil and firing in full auto mode. It was an obnoxious, toxic gun to go up against, and I mean, I do think it would be kind of cool to see it again after all these years. I'm really worried how hard the community would spam it. I mean, I think we should just play it safe. Let's leave it in the COD vault. At number 2, the Striker. You know it as the Street Sweeper. I know it as the Striker. The shotgun first appeared in the original Modern Warfare 2, then it returned with a vengeance in MW3, where it was undeniably the best shotgun in the game. Then, almost a decade later, it was renamed to the Street Sweeper and brought into Black Ops Cold War, where once again, best shotgun in the game. Now, I'm not really sure if it was quite as good as the pre-patch Modern Warfare 3 version, which was straight up broken, but it was close. It was insane. The ammo capacity, a great fire rate, and in the old games, it was capable of killing with a single pull of the trigger, which no semi-auto shotgun should be able to do. The Cold War version was a little more balanced with the reload time. I mean, it was, but it's still ridiculous. The COD community does not need another spammy shotgun in 2022. Shotguns have been way too spammy last few games, so I think it's a good idea to put the Striker on the bench. And at number 1, shotguns. The R909 with Dragon's Breath. Let's finish things off with perhaps the most game-breaking shotgun in recent memory. Modern Warfare 2019. Capable of killing with a single hit from impressive distances, and you could even fire it twice before having to pump it, making it one of the most unique shotguns in COD history. But a few months into the game's life cycle, IW thought it'd be funny to add Dragon's Breath rounds to the shotguns, and then things got out of hand. It was already a good shotgun. It got a massive buff in the damage department since it could carry so many rounds and fire so quickly. It was renamed the community's Doof Doof. This thing completely dominated both Modern Warfare and Warzone, and nothing ever came close to how much damage it could pump out at close range. Now, it was eventually nerfed, and it's not that great in Warzone anymore, but it's still godly in Modern Warfare multiplayer. Now, I've said recently, I don't think fire shotguns should ever return at all, but if there's one shotgun I really don't want to come back, it's this one. And there you have it. Those are 10 toxic guns we don't want to see later this year. Let me know one more gun we should add to it. Make sure to take advantage of that G Fuel 30 code, CHAOS, and I'll see you soon.